Okay, so this is just where me and my dad are deciding where we're going to cut the wood because we wanted to have like a larger surface area for the bowls to sit on. So here I'm just showing you where we decided to cut these pieces of wood at. We decided just to cut off that top piece so that like it's nice and flat for the bowl to sit on top of. And so here's my dad just cutting it for me. And now he's just gonna like, it's kind of off frame, but then he's just putting the two pieces together to see where he needs to cut the second one. And so then he just goes through and recuts the second one. And then here we're just making sure that they're level. And our first one ended up being pretty level, but then our second one was off level. So then in a minute, you're going to see that he just went through and decided to trim off a little bit extra on the second one so that sanding will be easier. I won't have to sand as much off. And so here we're just cutting the second candlestick down to where it gets wider. Okay, so here I'm just using some E6000 glue to glue together those two little wood pieces together so that it'll make one big piece. I did let this dry overnight just to make sure everything was set before I started putting bowls on top of it and adding weight to it. Okay, so for some reason this clip didn't record right, but this is me just sanding the tops of it down to make it level. And I had like an electric hand sander, but then I realized it was really loud and my family was sleeping, so I just kind of used it as a regular sandpaper and just like rubbed the tops of it together to make it more level. And especially with that second piece I'm gonna sand down, it had like a little lip to it where like one side was a little bit larger than the other, so I just sanded that down nice and flat. So here I'm using some E6000 glue to glue that little wood piece onto the first bowl. And then once I have that glued on, I'll be using my second bowl and putting that on top of that first wood piece. And then I'm just gonna make sure everything's like centered. And then I'll be going in with my second piece of wood and then putting that into my second bowl. And then I'll be taking my third bowl and putting that on top. I was a little nervous at first because I forgot that bowl had a little lip to it, but it worked out fine. And then I just spent a little bit of time making sure it's all even, which is kind of hard because it just kept sliding around on me from the glue. But then I eventually got it where I wanted it to be. So this is me just doing the last final touches by spray painting it. I ended up doing 2 coats of spray paint because the first coat didn't quite cover everything. Okay, so this is how it ended up turning out, and I really like it, except for the fact that that top bowl is a little crooked because I did not sand that wood piece down enough to make it level.